In this video, we're going to be talking about 5 different types of chemical reactions. The first type is a synthesis reaction. It's when 2 or more reactants combine to form one product. So here we have 2 reactants, H2 and Cl2, and then one product, HCl. I want you to notice I'm totally ignoring coefficients. We are just looking at chemical compounds. So a very generic way to show this is we have 2 reactants, so we'll call that A and reactant B, and they combine to form one product, product AB. So 2 separate compounds or 2 separate substances combine to form one substance. The next type of reaction is a decomposition reaction. It's the opposite of a synthesis. It's when one reactant, so here we have our one reactant, breaks apart into 2 or more products. So here we have 2 products. And our generic way of writing this would be AB, our reactant, breaks apart into A plus B. And again, the coefficients do not matter. Our third type of reaction is called the single displacement or sometimes single replacement reaction. And what happens is we have an element, so here we have O2 is our element, and a compound, AlCl3, remember? So an element is just one type of atom and a compound is at least 2 types of atoms. So we have an element and a compound react, and the element replaces one of the elements in the compound to form a new product. So oxygen is a non-metal. It can behave as an anion. And chlorine is also a non-metal. So the oxygen will replace the chlorine, and now we have aluminum with oxygen, aluminum oxide, and the chlorine is left alone. Cl2 is all alone. So this is like if you go to a dance with your partner, and you meet your partner and this other person, make eye contact across the dance floor, and your partner is like, oh, see ya, I'm gonna go and dance with this person, and then you are left all alone. So 2 substances now come together, and in this reaction, the chlorine in this case is left alone. The fourth type of reaction is a double displacement or a double replacement reaction, and this occurs when ions from 2 different compounds, so now we have 2 compounds, swap places to form new products. So here are our 2 compounds, HCl and ZNO, and I want you to notice the cations are always written first. I know hydrogen is a little tricky because it is a non-metal, but in this case it's going to act as a cation, and chlorine and oxygen are our anions. So hydrogen bonds with oxygen, the positive and the negative attract, and chlorine bonds with zinc, the negative and the positive attract. So now we have water and zinc chloride. So 2 things have swapped. So a generic version of this would be if we had AB as one compound plus CD as another compound, and the B and the D swapped places. So now we have AD and CB as our products. Okay, notice that swapping, the double displacement. And our last type of reaction is called a combustion reaction. It's a reaction that involves burning a compound in oxygen to produce a lot of energy. So when you hear combustion, you should think explosion or fire. Oftentimes, these reactions look and sound like explosions or fire. And usually water and carbon dioxide are produced. So in this example, we have propane gas. This is the gas that's often used in grills. And when you light it on fire, fire symbolizes oxygen. It'll explode, but the byproducts will actually be water and carbon dioxide. So a generic way of writing this is generally we have this thing called a hydrocarbon. Hydro for hydrogen, carbon for carbon. Hydrocarbon is a compound that is made up of carbons and hydrogens. So, and that could be any subscript. So I'm just going to call the subscripts X and Y. And we add it to oxygen and it produces water and carbon dioxide. Now, of course, there will be, some sort of coefficients in these spots, but that depends on what the X and Y are. So that's why I left those blank. And this is just the generic form. So now we're going to play a game called Name the Type of Reaction. So what type of reaction is this? And explain why. Why is it that? What type of reaction is this? Why? What type of reaction is this? Why? What type of reaction is this? Why? What type of reaction is this? What type of reaction is this? What type of reaction is this? And that ends our game of what type of reaction is this? Name that reaction.